You see, the way I see it, when we we come onto the internet and we see people who've got different points of view, we all tend to look at those people in more or less the same way. It's kind of like, why doesn't that strange person out there on the internet see this particular subject in the same way that any other sane, rational, normal, logical, beautiful, advanced individual such as myself would? Okay, I mean, we all do this. I mean, there's people out there who I have some similarity of opinion with, but on some minor dogmatic issues or some major ideological issues, there will be some differences of opinion. Now, that's just the way things are. So we as humans struggle to accept the fact that we all have different points of view, and I think that it's something we've got to overcome, which is of course a real bastard, because if someone like me can't overcome it, then the chance of some person who's less beautiful, advanced, and good-looking, and respectable and responsible would probably struggle over it. Anyway, let's go back to the subject of color. This rather well-produced volume came with something called the Rainbow Oracle. The Rainbow Oracle was hilarious because it was a pack of dice, plastic dice, with different colors on the various faces of the dice. Now, I got this during a time when I wanted to explore the subjects of color from a metaphysical or symbolical point of view for myself. So it essentially served a purpose at that time to help me as I started to expand my knowledge or personal experiential experimentation with things such as tarot, runes, meditation, and other basically weird tree-hugging hippie crap, basically, because in many ways that's what I am, a bit of a tree-hugging hippie, but with short hair, who doesn't smell, who washes regularly, and doesn't take drugs. So, how much of a hippie am I? Difficult to say. Anyway, on with the book. This is weird. The dice themselves did not have that feeling of authenticity that my runestone set had. My runestones were made of red clay. They smelt ancient. They must have added some kind of scent to the packet, to make them smell ancient, as if they were made in some kind of dusty, raw, primitive environment. It looked right. It felt right. My tarot, for instance, my various tarot packs, they're presented to look like they've got some kind of connection to something mystical or occult or spiritual and so on and so forth, and the symbolism and all the rest of it. It's good. The Rainbow Oracle, plastic dice, presumably made in Taiwan or China. Doesn't really connect. But the message of you can use even crap which is made in China to help you to go through the process of understanding things from a symbolical point of view is quite good. I mean, you can go through the book and find a section and see what kind of message that particular color has. Silver, for instance, it says here, page 156 for those of you who've got a copy of this at home and actually want, the references. Color keys, versatility, flexibility, intuition, psychic awareness. Just like I said at the beginning of the video, we could have different points of view. I don't quite see the color silver in that way. Psychic awareness, possibly, because the color silver has a connection to the moon. Intuition, possibly, because there's a connection to the moon as well. Flexibility, that would be okay if you're thinking about water as an element, maybe, but not necessarily if you're thinking about silver as being a lunar color, unless of course you're regarding it as being the creative message. But the creative message of the moon would tie in with dreams. And where in that very simple definition is there a message of dreams or trying to use creativity through some variety of all the states of consciousness practice? Basically there isn't. So is this book necessarily going into the subject in sufficient depth? Well, the more you do it, the more you play around with the interpretations that one particular oracle has got, the more you'll be getting yourself programmed, so to speak, to think in a certain way which is geared towards whatever that particular oracle is. Like the color red would have a different meaning in your kind of like Western occultism, where where you use the planetary energies or planetary symbols, as opposed to let's say in runecraft, where the color red is symbolic of life because of the connection to blood. Okay, so the different cultures see the same symbols in very different ways, and yes, that's got to be embraced. But if you were to look at the interpretations, so let's say this book has the color silver, you'll be able to get a good feeling as to the ideas that it connects to. So we can say, purely looking at its interpretation of silver, some of the influences, which appear to be principally Western, which appear to be principally from the Judeo-Christian type symbolical structures, but which don't necessarily connect as easily to pagan imagery. Unless, of course, that's the paganism which has been inspired by the Judeo-Christian cults such as Freemasonry, Kabbalah, and all the rest. So, yeah, we can definitely use this stuff. But I think you got to ask yourself, what for? Okay, it's the same with all kinds of stuff out there. What are you going to use it for? How does it fit into your life? And that's a question I think you've got to ask yourself before you use it.